Hello, everyone, and thank you for participating in this new cycle of Innovate Together webinar. Before starting, I will give you a little bit of a little technical information. You will see on the right-hand side of your screen 4 different tabs: chat, question, polls, and people. So if you have any question, please ask them in the question part, not in the chat. You can use the chat to give a little information about yourself, your organization, and what you are looking for. And there is also a poll table, but we will come back to it a little bit later. So before starting the presentation, I will give you some background about the event. This event is organized by 4 clusters of the greater region: Luxinnovation, Skywin, MecaTech, and Materalia. And this year, we have the pleasure to welcome a special guest, a cluster coming directly from Asturias in Spain. And they will give a presentation a bit later. Last year, we organized a first cycle of webinar, which aimed to show you the possibility of funding, as well as some success story of companies that have beneficiated from European funding. And this year, we want to go even further by initiating an active consortium creation process. And to do this, we have built an approach that is based on several steps, and that I will present you in a few moments. First of all, I will come back to the objective of today's session, which will be to continue to interconnect our ecosystem by creating opportunities for collaboration between our members, to inform and inspire you by presenting the different funding programs concerning digitalization and human-robot collaboration, and to encourage you to share your idea and your project desire in order to build relevant consortium together. So, about the agenda of the week, we've just finished the first webinar that was about advanced and sustainable by design material. We are now in the second one, digitalization and human-robot collaboration. Tuesday, we will have a third one on circular economy and energy transition in industry. And last but not least, the last of this week will be on Thursday, and will be about the European funding and bottom-up initiative. So for all the subjects that didn't fit in the 3 first, if you want to register in the next webinar, you can do it by the pop-up that just appear on your screen. So, as I told you, this year we want to have a more active approach to help you build consortium, and it will be based on 4 different stages. So the first one, we are writing it. It's this first week of webinar that it aims to present the different cluster ecosystem, give you example of funding, in order to give you idea about what is possible to fund, and starting to create a dynamics. After those webinar, you will be able to register into a platform, and you will have up to the 24th of May to submit your idea and your different needs for project consortium. We will provide you the link later on. After this first phase of ideation, we will analyze the input we received, and build the workshop that will take place at the 17th of June. So all the topics are not as to be defined, and they will be defined based on your input. So if you want, you will have to follow the whole process with us to then later on build a consortium with all the partners. So today's moderator will be myself, Jeremy Keller. I'm innovation manager working for Pôle Materalia in France. We will be presenting with Anthony Bievelez, which is also project manager from Skywin, the Pôle Skywin in Belgium, and Thibaut van Roden, which work as an international affairs manager at Pôle MecaTech in Belgium. So now we will start the presentation of the different clusters that organize those manifestations, and I will start by Materalia. So Materalia, we are a competitiveness cluster based in the Grand Est region in France. We have 310 members, 82 of them are SMEs, and we are working mainly on material and processes, and we have different field of interest, and especially for the different European program. We are working on additive manufacturing, factory of the future, and digital transition. Also on advanced material and new processes. And we have a third axe that is on the circular economy, green transition, and research and responsible research and innovation. We can provide several services for our member, and for the consortium we integrate. We have first consortium identification, we have partner search, event organization, organization of networking event, and customized information monitoring. Our cluster also provide some competencies in European projects, such as stakeholder engagement, key information, about skills and technology, information monitoring, and we have also an activity in dissemination and communication. And now I will let the floor to Anthony to present the other cluster.
Thank you, Jeremy. So in Wallonia, there are 6 fields which are of high specialization. 2 of them are present here. One is MecaTech, so I will leave the floor to MecaTech right afterwards for their presentation, because especially they are the main focus of the topic today. In Skywin, we are specialized in aeronautics, space, drones, defense and engineering. You see our specialties right under the title. I would like to point out, so basically whatever Thibaut will say, we are doing as well in MecaTech. So it's the same principle for collaborative innovation between industry and research centers and universities. Especially for Skywin, we have 2 projects now that are trans-regional, I would say. So the concept of a collaborative project within Wallonia, we extend to one in Quebec for composite materials, one with France in the west of France for photonics. So if you have an idea of maybe a more compact project that does not go to the level of the European horizon, you may contact us as well in the fields presented. So my contact is on the left of the screen. To Thibaut.
Hi, thank you very much, Anthony. Yes, Thibaut from MecaTech. And MecaTech is, as you introduced already, is similar to Skywin. It's a pôle de compétitivité in Wallonia. And the domain, it's actually technology focused that we have. So in the ecosystem, you can see the figure. I'll let you read them for yourself. The focus is on advanced materials, advanced manufacturing, mechatronic, automation, and things like this. And everything linked with data technologies such as IT, AI. So the applications domain are quite wide, as you can see here. And what we try to do, it's quite similar to Jeremy explained. It's also quite similar to Anthony explained. It's trying to help you to jump in these European projects in synergy with our colleagues and partners from the NCP, especially on the first phase, and also to try to see which type of we can complement this and look, for example, like Anthony has explained, other forms of collaborations and things like this. So the keyword is we're interested to start from your ideas, basically, and to look up what are the best solutions to try to your innovative ideas and to try to see how we can support you in that process. Back to you, Anthony, for our Luxembourgish colleagues.
Thank you, Thibault. Within the greater region, we mentioned France and Wallonia from Belgium. In Luxembourg, Luxinnovation is leading this initiative. Luxinnovation is as well a cluster in the Industry 4.0, additive manufacturing, automation, and robotics are their main objectives. They also focus on the materials and manufacturing for their companies and members. Innovation, business development, and cross-sector cooperation are the main axes of work. In the frame of this series of webinars as well, the plastic loop and plastic recycling are main focus of their activities. Caroline Müller is their representative. You see her contacts in the bottom left of the screen in the blue area. As well, we are all working together here, so you may contact either one of us to be kept in the loop, and the rest of the activities will be common as well. I will add in the chat another counterpart, which is not partner in this initiative, but which is as well a regular partner of our activities, is Saris in Germany. So I mentioned them in their contact is Nicole Boisier, and yeah, as well, if you're from Germany, that would be your main contact point, but do not hesitate to contact us, the member of this consortium for the webinars, if you have any specific question or want to be kept in the loop. So we dive in the agenda of today's activity. We mentioned the partners and the objectives. We would like to get to know you a bit more as well. So as we will be speaking or in the introductions, as Jerry mentioned, on the top right of your screen, there's a few options for you. Chat, I see, is very active, so thank you all for contributing. If you have specific questions that need to come above the chat, you may ask them in the questions side, so the speakers will be able to answer them at the end of the presentation. We will give you a bit of more time after the presentation as well, and give some reminders. To the right, you have as well the polls. So in the poll, it's very quick. We'd like to know if which is your level of habituation to these process of the European calls. So 3 questions. 1, have you already been involved in a European project? Yes or no, that's easy. Did you already collaborate with a partner in the greater region for innovation purposes? Or are you interested, is the 3rd question, are you interested in taking part in the future calls? That would help us very much to give a better orientation and level to our explanation in this session and in the following sessions. So we may now dive in the first presentation, which is Yoni Mercier. As we haven't mentioned, but NCP is a usual partner from MecaTech and Skywin in Wallonia, and Yoni is for this specific presentation all contacts in the aerospace industry, and he will mention that in detail. So Yoni, I think you have the floor now. Shoot right ahead.
Thank you very much. There we go. Thank you very much, everyone. Hello to all. Hello to everyone that wasn't here at the previous workshop just an hour ago. So my name is Yoni Mercier. I am part of the NCP in Wallonia. Some people might recognize me because I actually presented here also for the first line of a workshop that was presented in October and November at the end of last year. So I'm here for NCP Wallonia as representative for the thematics of transport space, Industry 4.0, and materials. And for those who don't know, NCPs are the national contact points. So we work with the European Commission to help companies reach European project and, of course, get European fundings. So we work a lot with the cluster. Of course, our goal here is to just be able to provide you the best services. So maybe information, program selection, project construction, even reading the project to help you make it better before you submit it, and work closely with you, with the clusters, to help you get those financing. So Horizon Europe is the next big program by the European Commission. It's going to go up to 2027. The first call is going to open in the 15th of May, and some might arrive a little later in the month of May, but most of them will be out before June starts. It is still represented the same as Horizon 2020. We have on one side programs like Euratom and the European Defence Fund, and then on the main core, the three pillar with research, innovation on the third, and the second pillar with the bottom down calls, like everyone is used to know. So here for digital and robot collaboration, we're going to be in the cluster 4 with digital, industry, and space. There might be some interest for you in the cluster 3 with the civil security for society, all the ICT, but it is the little difficulty in Horizon Europe is that all the thematics have been mixed together. It is the arrival of digitalization. It is the objective to reach the European Green Deal, and so to impact directly societies and industries. There's been really a mix in thematics to be able to reach the furthest possible. So how those projects, and so you can understand the discussion here today. So the European Commission took all the big challenges, so the societal challenges with the pandemic, the way we work nowadays, the environmental challenges, of course, the competitivity, digitalization, and from those to political decision that will go towards operational, with legislative decisions, and of course, research and development with Horizon Europe. And so from those political decisions, they drew main work programs, then divides it into calls with focus area and specific topics with specific outcomes expected. The actions in those are still going to be the same as in Horizon 2020. We have basically RRA, Research and Innovation Action, IA, Innovation Actions, and CSA, Coordination and Support Action. So RRA are basically for research, maximum material 6 expected at the end of the project. The point here is to help some fundamental research reach a point of prototyping where they can be adapted later on. Then we have innovation action. Here, basically, at the end of the project, the European Commission asked the projects to be 2 years top from putting it on the market. And so that's why companies are less financed, only 70 to 60% of financing on those innovation actions, while of course nonprofit organizations like universities and research centers still have 100% funding. And then CSA is of course 100% funding for everyone. So I'm sorry for those who were here just before. There's going to be a little bit of repetition between my two presentations because, like I said, there is a lot of crossing between the two thematics. So in the first destination, here we're going to talk about production, digitalized production. It is an axe very important for the European Commission that has to impact very quickly the industrial companies. And so here in all topics, there's going to be really a push to implement specific technologies to the industries. And in most of the project, end users are asked really to prove that the project is applicable in the society. And so we're going to work into, of course, and create a green, new, flexible way to produce, thinking about how the ICTs tools, the digitalization AI can help us rewrite and be better in our industries. And of course, making sure that all the societal challenges, especially with the arrival of AI and ICT tools, are still up to date. Here, the good news is, so the deadline was supposed to be on the 15th of July, and about less than a month ago, because of huge lobbying for every countries, we managed to make a change to the 23rd of September. So for all of you that didn't know, all the 4.0 industry calls have been pushed back for a little bit more than 2 months, letting you a little bit more time to get ready for those. What are those called? So, like I said, they're all very, very towards industry. So we're going to have the first one, which is very in line with the work today, because we're going to be talking about smart manufacturing with the help of robotic system enhanced by AI. Then we're going to have working on zero waste manufacturing, here too using predictive maintenance and all the 4.0 industry tools that we can put into this. Then developing laser-based technology for green manufacturing, developing manufacturing technologies for bio-based materials, and then working on the tools. So the tools orienting, the tools touching to data analytics, or the tools around artificial intelligence to help this sustainable, agile manufacturing environment and having the best industrial environments. So we see very different kind of projects all around. We are a little bit at less than 10 million per project, but several opportunities, so really a lot of possibility. So do not hesitate if you are interested by those calls. There's a lot of interest around those, and so it's getting pretty easy to find a consortium. Then some very interesting call 2022 arriving on the 30th of March. I put those out there just so you can start looking at it. And if you're interested, do not hesitate to contact me, your network, and of course, the clusters here today to talk about those. Then the second destination here is a lot more oriented towards materials. So developing the materials, the advanced materials that will help us implement circular technology, having better processes in our industry. The deadlines here are the same as the 4.0 industry call. So we're going to be on the 23rd of September for the 2021 and on the 30th of March for 2022. The calls here are a little bit more mixed up because since it's very applied here, the 4.0 industry points is a little bit more on social. So we're going to have the first one here, which is just make a biomaterial database for health application. So a special kind of CSA. And then we're going to start thinking more about how can we impact So the strategic digital technologies, how can we help reopening industrial sites that have been closed recently thanks to digitalized tools, and how we can innovate to transform and implement the SMEs into these calls. Here again, some 2022 calls. Here, once the social has been dealt with in 2021, here we're going more into very specific calls with a clear impact on industrialization. We have putting value chains and circular and low emission value chains through digitalization. We can have developing some digital platforms. So here, especially for small scale extractive industry, there's a little bit of push towards the mining life as well. And of course, developing full optimized industrial systems and line through digitalization, with here two clear end users that are asked. The last one here is towards digital and emerging technology. The European Commission is aware that to be able to impact the industries and production lines, new technologies that are emerging right now have to be thought in order to be competitive and fit for the European Green Deal and what we're trying to reach climate-wise. And so they're doing some calls to try to make that connection between the two aspects, with deadlines on the 8th of September for 2021 and 5th of April for 2022. Here, a lot more diversity here, because we're going to go a little bit more into specific technologies. So here, as you can see, we're going to talk about ultra low power processors for edge computing, open source hardware here as well for ultra low power. We're going to think about AI, data, and robotics in different opportunities. So for the Green Deal, for work, of course, we're talking about advanced photonic and optical communications, as well as spintronics and developing technologies device for biomanufacturing, for biointelligent manufacturing. In 2022, here as well, some topics that are trying to make this link, talking about multi-sensing systems, open source for cloud-based services. So as well, a lot of interesting project. If you're interested, do not hesitate to contact. Again, as you can see, there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of projects are going to be financed. So it gives a lot of opportunity to be in a good consortium. So if you're interested what to do now, well, as you can see with the deadlines, it's a perfect timing. Do not wait too long, because the consortium are starting to be built. I myself in the talk with several key players to launch this. So really, if you're interested, connect yourself with your network, with possible partners that you've been talking with. I want to amplify the need to identify your roadmaps as well, because it really needs to go along with what you want to develop. There's a lot of competitivity in those calls, so be sure that you're in the good topics. And do not hesitate to contact NCP Wallonia for more information, for connections. Of course, your clusters here today are here to help you, and that's why they started this discussion, to try to create some synergies around those. So do not hesitate to contact everyone present here today. And if you need, there is some tools to spread the word that you're interested about a specific topic. We have a one-page expertise description here at NCP Wallonia. I'm sure that the clusters have that kind of tools as well. So again, we're all here to help you reach that potential. So do not hesitate to ask us any question you have. That's it for me today. Thank you very much for your attention. I know it's a lot of information, so do not hesitate again to contact any of us if you need some more details. And I wish you all a very good day.
Thank you, Johnny. That was quite interesting as usual. Before we move on to the next presentation, I would like just to give you a quick reminder of the poll that is available to help us know a bit more about you. I see the chat is very active, so thank you for all the contributions there. That's quite interesting to read on an off minute. There is a question already from Raymond Buckler that we will address. There's a short answer already given, but we'll come back to that at the end in the questions time. Sorry. Next presentation is Peter Connock. I see he's here. Hello, Peter. You may enable your camera already. That would be a talk about the Eureka AI call, industry association promoting the RD&I, in electronics component systems, is his company, INEAS. The floor is yours, Peter.
Let me just share my screen.
All right.
Wait a minute. That's interesting. It won't share a PDF presentation.
Oh, we have nice perspective here. That is good.
It's coming, I think. It's just...
Yeah, we see it and we can hear you, so that seems all right. Go ahead. Unless we lost Peter. So while Peter is coming back, if I can hear him, I think he's away. So I would like...
I think I'm here.
Here it is. Yeah, all right. This is good. Go ahead, Peter.
I don't know what happened there. Very strange. Very strange indeed. However, I do apologize, everybody, but we seem to be back to life. My name is Peter Connock, and I'm here on behalf of all the Eureka clusters to talk about the AI Call 2021. If we can go there. Many of you may be familiar with Eureka clusters, but just in case you're not, what are they? They are a partnership between public authorities, investing public authorities from across the Eureka network, which comprises of about 44 countries, and industry. And the whole idea is that by industry forming international collaborative consortia, receiving a little bit of funding from public authorities, we create an opportunity for larger enterprises, SMEs, research and technology organizations, and academia, universities to work together, really push the state of the art, and at the same time, at the end of it, establish real impact through the innovation and exploitation by the collaborative ecosystem. And you can imagine for a smaller SME to be able to link up with a large enterprise that may provide avenues of exploitation which would really help them. Academic institutions may get their ideas out into the marketplace through SMEs and large enterprises. So everybody works together in these ecosystems, all stimulated by public funding. The artificial intelligence call in 2021 is now open, and it is so-called a joint thematic call. Again, for those of you who are familiar with clusters, you may be used to the traditional, what we call bottom-up calls, where each cluster launches a call, 1, 2, or more during the year. Industry are invited to submit consortia, and these are funded by the public authorities. We've introduced this new capability called joint thematic calls, where we feel that all of our community should work together on the potential of putting together the best possible consortia in this particular area of interest to public authorities. So this is the second call on artificial intelligence with support from public authorities. And all the clusters you can see here, Celtic next in ICT and vertical sectors, Eurogia, low carbon energy, ITEA, software innovation, Penta Euripides, electronic components and systems, and smart manufacturing are involved in this program. And the whole idea is that the entire community, the entire, if you like, electronic components and systems, broad community, have an opportunity to participate. Why AI? Well, we all know it's a big buzzword at the moment. It's a very broad thematic area and therefore well suited to all involved in the electronics industry, digital transformation, if you like. It's also extremely important. I mean, it has the potential of transforming almost everything that we do. We've seen its power brought to bear to some extent in the current crisis, but you see it in everything, both personal and in business. Hopefully I'm still.
It's a bit of a lag. We'll wait for Peter to come back. That gives me the opportunity to remind you of the poll and the questions that are available to you. I see Peter's back. Go ahead, Peter.
Apologize. I have no idea what's
we lost you, but you can continue.
Yeah, it's really weird because my connection is fine, but never mind.
All right.
Crack on. So enormously important, bringing together partners from the different clusters community and of course opportunities to engage in other cluster projects once this has started. I don't need to go through this. I think you're all familiar with AI, and this is merely illustrating how broad the arena is. There is no restriction. So it can be health, it can be agriculture, it can be smart cities, it can be anything that you can see here and more as a subject of the project. The countries involved in the program are listed on the left here, currently 14. There's nothing to stop you if you're in another Eureka country going to your national funding body and say, if we participate in a consortium on this AI area, would you be willing to contribute? Many of them have flexible investment programs, and if they say a good project from the right sort of partner, then they may well be willing to consider it. Obviously, it's difficult meeting up with people in this sort of environment, especially if you're new to the this sort of activity in the clusters area. And so we provide a brokerage tool. This is available via the AI call portal. I'll give you the address of the AI call portal in a minute. And in the brokerage tool, you can create an account. You can log in by using a very simple password mechanism as per normal. And at that point, you have an opportunity to create a profile. It's a really good idea to create a very broad profile because then people can find you for projects. Because one of the ideas is people can look for partners in these projects as well as perhaps you looking for a project. So you can enter this brokerage tool with the idea of leading a project with a project idea to whom you would like to provide partners. Equally, you can enter as a potential partner and present your capabilities to the broad community, and then hopefully people will invite you to projects. So it's called a brokerage tool or a project idea tool. You'll see an overview of all the at least public AI project ideas. You can create a new idea. You could add new partners to your idea. You can receive invitations and give invitations. And you can create a project proposal if ultimately you're the leader of the project and this project idea develops the critical mass that you need. You can transfer it to the project submission tool later on. Most importantly, you can look for partners and you can set up your profiles in this tool. In terms of actually then submitting a project, it's a single-step process. Some cluster projects are two-step, project outline and full project proposal. This is single-step, so you do need to get it right first time. It's submitted through the AI website. You can see the address on screen. There's full call guidance available on the website, and all of us can provide you with submission support to help you submit a project. You may be familiar with a particular cluster, in which case you'd be happy to work with them, or you may not be familiar, in which case you can select a cluster that is nearest your center of expertise, if you like. One comment, it is absolutely essential that each partner makes early contact with the public authority who they hope to support them to make sure that they will be eligible for funding. Otherwise, there is a danger that you can lose out at the end, which is very disappointing for everybody and your partners. And they will, of course, provide you with guidance. And of course, as I've already mentioned, you can get as much help as you like from your supporting cluster. Quick look at what makes a successful project. There's a lot more than this, but just to give you a flavor of it, you want to move the state of the art. The funders and the technical experts who look at your project will want to see that you've moved the state of the art, that you have proposed innovations that enable applications, because that's where exploitation will occur, that there are excellent ecosystems being formed between you and your partners with the result of potential high impact for commercial and or societal output, that it's a good complementary set of partners, no more and no less than is required. We're looking for projects in what we call the mid-size range, lasting about 2 to 3 years and 3 to 15 million euros in total project cost. We want to see international cooperation. We don't want to see individual consortia in individual countries. We want to see the whole team working together. Again, I've said it once, that have discussed with the public authorities what they want to do. This is the timeline. The call opened on the 1st of March and the project submission deadline is the 28th of June. It sounds a very long time, but then there's a process of evaluation done by both technical experts and national funding authorities that progresses from June onwards. And this also comprises the in parallel national funding processes. You need to submit your project proposal and you need to fulfill whatever national funding requirements are required by the country in which you operate in. And we hope to start projects by the end of this year or latest in spring of 2022. And so finally, a reminder, the 28th of June, you can see the website there, Eureka-clusters-ai.eu, and you can see the list of clusters at the bottom of the screen. This presentation, I believe, will be available to you. And of course, you can contact me at any time if you have any questions. So very, very quick summary of the situation. I hope it's inspired some interest, and I hope that we, the clusters, see you in one of the proposals to be submitted by the end of June. Thank you very much indeed for your attention.
Thank you, Peter. Quite interesting presentation as well. I would like to emphasize the timing of this Eureka call, which is a bit earlier than the other calls that Yoni kindly presented. So don't wait. Do subscribe to the process that Peter presented and contact your national contact points and clusters if you have any question on the process. Quick usual reminder about the poll. I don't know if all of you have given us your small input there. Now is a good time while I introduce Jose Ramon Natal, who will be talking to us and introducing Meta Industry 4, is that correctly pronounced? From Asturia as well, which is our special guest today. Quite welcome. If you will share your screen now, you can launch the presentation. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Anthony, and thank you. It is a great honor for us having the opportunity to stay with you and to share with you a brief overview about Meta Industry 4, about our cluster. Firstly, I would like to tell you where we are. We are in the north of Spain, in a small region called Asturias. It is a small region with more or less 1 million of inhabitants and 2 main cities in the center of the region. That the main city in which we live, that is Gijón, is the most industrialized city very related with the metal mechanical engineering and engineering sector, and the capital city that it is Oviedo. Our cluster, it is a young cluster and a small cluster. We are 5 years old, and we work with 61 members. We cover all the value chain of, or all the ecosystem of the metal mechanical engineering sector, from the manufacturing and the providers, the main suppliers, to the manufacturers of the big equipment, and the EPC solutions for the sectors that related with renewable, oil and gas as the mainly, and other sectors like steel or power generation in general. Our cluster has as member the two main RTOs in the region. One you have known during the first webinar, that is Idonial. It is highly specialized in advanced materials and advanced technologies in manufacturing. And the other one is CTIC, that is highly specialized in IT technologies for industry and other sectors as well. This is more or less as a photo, a picture about us about our cluster. In the center of the region, we concentrate all of our cluster members in less than 30 kilometers radius, in which we have the access to 2 international ports, more than 200,000 square meters of facilities, and highly specialized skilled workers. Specialists focus on these two value chains that are renewable and petrochemical and oil and gas value chains. In these 5 years, we are about to achieve our 6th year. We have developed a fast growth from our birth to be recognized by the Spanish Ministry of Economy and Industry as an excellent cluster in 2017. To achieve to gain our first Horizon 2020 European projects in 2020, and now this year we have been recognized at the global in some studies and other publications in which we are our cluster are appearing as a special business model to understand how a small cluster like us works. We are focusing 3 main areas that are integration in global value chains, that is related with business development, Industry 4.0, that is in which the most important for this webinar, in which we are developing or foster collaborative innovation among our cluster members and other stakeholders, and technological improvement, and human capital management as the 3rd pillar of the cluster. Nowadays, we are working in a couple of projects in Erasmus+, all of them related with how to improve the skills of our workers and attract new workers to the metal sector, to the metal mechanical sector, and how to introduce or adopt the circular economy in the metal industry through the vocational educational training centers. We developed the first Industry 4.0 master's degree in Spain, in a public university in Spain. And nowadays, we have just released our first analysis of the new roles of the industry related with the digital transformation in the metal mechanical sector. We have detected the new digital and personal skills that the new employees need to develop their careers in this sector. Through this second pillar, we are developing different activities, different projects, all of them related with how to improve the positioning of the metal industry companies in the global value chains, especially in the previous mentioning. And now, recently, we have received a new European project in Clusters Go International, in which we are going to develop with other cluster partners, develop business opportunities in renewable energies in sub-Saharan Africa during the next 3 years. These are in which are the main value chains we are focused on. As you can see in the different figures that appears below the name of the different value chains, you can see that we have a very good representative of companies in the very good representation of our companies in these value chains, especially in the two first, in oil and gas and renewables, with more than 50% of our companies working there, with a good amount of the budget in tier 1, with the first in the first chains of the value chain, the first links of the value chain. And now we are working in the development of a new value chain that is green hydrogen, in which we are focused especially on the development or manufacturing of the equipment to produce green hydrogen in this value chain. So, and finally, in the third pillar, this collaborative innovation and technological improvement, our focus is in boosting digitalization projects, boosting in Industry 4.0 projects. Nowadays, we are working in projects related with how to adopt artificial intelligence applied to planning production, especially in planning production of non-serial productions. Other projects related with additive manufacturing in different technologies as one or another, on other types of technologies in additive manufacturing. Nowadays, working as well in digital twin, how to introduce this digital twin in this type of processing that are not serial and it's more complicated to understand and to plan. And in this moment, are working as well in a Horizon 2020 InnoSub project. It is a project, as you know very well, with Cascade funding that now we have our first open call open, and is related or is focused on how to boost or improve the value chains of mining and raw materials with in digital transformation, circular economy, and other type of topics. This is a short overview about us. Sorry for my pronunciation and sorry for go quickly trying to introduce all of the different topics. You have in the presentation my email contact and the email contact of my colleague Silvia Jimenez, that is the European project manager in the cluster. We are at your disposal for all of the collaboration that you believe that we can add value for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jose. Sorry, I missed my button here.
Sorry, only okay. I would like to say something more. That is, thank you very much to Materalia and Jeremy and his team to introduce and to have giving us the opportunity with all of you and with you, Luxinnovation, MecaTech, and Skywin to have the opportunity to stay here with all of you, of course.
Sure, that's exactly the point of this kind of webinar, and the more the merrier. European projects are quite abundant, and it's very good if we can find participation all over the place. I'll give a bit of time to the questions. Do fill them in the question tab if you have one still that you need to ask us or ask the community. I will mention briefly the one question we have from Mr. Bröschler, Raymond from Luxembourg, who is active in a company in the construction sector and is looking for a strong use case for human-robot collaboration in that area. So I know that Caroline Müller from Luxinnovation is in contact with him already to follow up on that question. But if you feel there is any specific information you can give to Raymond, so about the introduction of robotics in the construction sector, and especially a company in Luxembourg that is looking to implement that, please do give the information in the chat. I may mention as well, while I'm here, I will add it in the chat as well, that we have a research center that is quite active now in the robotics in the construction sector in Wallonia, which is the construction research center, and that will surely will know of companies in Belgium, maybe in Luxembourg, for that kind of use cases.
Just one comment to add up on what you said, mentioning also on the comment of Jose about Meta for Industry, and to thank him also about this presentation, because this is typically also what's interesting, I think, for us and for the members, because as you see here, there's a presentation of calls, but it's also the idea and the possibility to start from ideas. And thanks to connecting, thanks to Jeremy, with clusters like you, like our fellow friends from Luxinnovation, also from Sound, that gives us more opportunity to try to build up on ideas that you, as participants, can come up with, and to find potential solutions. You mentioned cascade funding. That's also something which was not mentioned today, but this exists. There's plenty of them on a regular basis. There's also bilateral funding, as Anthony mentioned, that's been done with different regions. So there's plenty of solution. And the starting point quite often is you as a greater region, industrial greater region participant. What is basically the collaborative, innovative R&D idea that you have? And that's the starting point. There's always a lot of possibilities. This is where we want to start from.
So now for the conclusion, I would like to thank everybody for participating, and a special thanks to all of our speakers. Don't forget to register to the platform. I think pop-up may just have appear on your screen. Also, today's presentation has been recorded and will be circulated. If you have if you need any information, you can contact me at the address that you are seeing right now, or Anthony, or any of the other members that organized the webinar. And don't forget the next step. So to follow the next webinar of this week, to register on the platform and submit your idea until the 21st of May. And we will see each other all at the end of June, middle of June, to start the workshop together and to build the consortia. So I will let the floor to my colleague if anybody want to add something. Otherwise, I will thank everybody and wish you a good appetite.
I think we're good.
Okay, so thank you everybody, and see you during the rest of the week.